What's good, everybody? This your boy Blackout Jones, just shooting the sports. Hey, the next time your girl tell you that 30 seconds ain't long enough, tell her it was enough time for Duke to blow a championship spot. Boy, hashtag Final Four. Let's go. Yo, what a way to make a comeback. I know I've been gone for a couple of days, you know what I'm saying, just doing a lot of moving and shaking and trying to get the new house together and things of that nature. But here I am, back with Just Shooting the Sports, your boy, Blackout Jones. And what a way to come back. The collapse of the Blue Devils against the Houston Cougars. Understand something. While I was still moving and doing what I was doing, the last time I checked in, I want to say the score was like, what, 58-45? But then, come to find out, Duke was actually up 56-42 with about, 11 minutes in the game, I think? Let me make sure. Oh, excuse me. With 8 minutes and 17 seconds left in the second half, they were up by 14 points. At that point, I was like, man, this game is over. I don't know what Houston Cougar team showed up because they whooped my team. Oh, they showed up against Tennessee, and I was like, oh, so you just going to show up against the Vols, but then you ain't going to show up against nobody else. Okay, whatever. It is what it is. But that team that beat Tennessee showed up in the last 8 minutes and 17 seconds and ended on a 28-11 run to not only shock the Duke Blue Devils, but shock those people in Cameron Indoor Stadium that were watching as well. Because, hey, they were silent as a mouse. But anyway, man, let's get to it. LJ Cryer, you know, I talked about him last time, man. And I said he was going to play a pivotal part in the Tennessee game, which he did. Understand, he was a freshman when he was at Baylor when they won the national championship, but he didn't really play a lot of minutes. It wasn't really even about him at that point. You know, freshmen come in maybe here or there, but he didn't really have an impact at that time. But he led the Houston score. He led everybody. He led in scoring with 26 points. He had 5 rebounds and he had 1 assist. Emmanuel Sharp had 16, and he hit a key 3 towards the end of that game to pull it within 3. Milos Uzan had 7. Juwan Roberts made some key free throws down at the end with 11 points, and then Joseph Tugler had 4 points. On the Duke side of things, Cooper Flagg led all scorers with 27. Kaman Maluch, I think that's his name. He had 6 points. Khan Dupel had 16. Tyrese Proctor had 7. Sion James had 7. It looked like Duke was about to go to the championship game. It really did. Like I said, when I looked at the score last, it was 58-45. You know, they were well on their way. And I was like, all right, well, you know, Cooper Flagg is taking over. Evidently, you know, Houston wasn't, you know, scoring like they normally do. Their defense, I mean, they were playing good defense, but it just wasn't enough. And then all of a sudden, the defense showed up, number 1 in the country as far as defense efficiency. So it mattered when it needed to matter. Just doing a little bit of research, I heard that, you know, Duke at times towards the end of games, they will collapse under the pressure. For whatever reason. Now, they only have 4 losses of the season, but I'm pretty sure that what they're saying is that in those games, even though they won, they gave up some leads because at the end, they were playing young. They weren't playing as veterans, you know, and not a lot of them are veterans anyway, but they had that young mentality towards the end of the game. And it reared its ugly head at the wrong time in the Final Four national semifinals. And Houston took advantage of it. Because let's understand something. Houston has a lot of veterans on their team. That's why it was surprising to see that they were down by as many points. But the one thing that they didn't allow, they never allowed that lead to get to 20 points, which sometimes is very important. Because usually when a team hits that 20-point lead mark, the other team just kind of, you know, they go ahead and fold their tent and they just go ahead, you know, say, and get on the bus and get on their plane and head on back to wherever they go, you know, wherever they came from. But it never got to that point. And like I said, it was like 56-42. It was like 14-point lead. It was like always a 14-point lead and under. And Houston, you know, their veteran class, their veteran players, They said, hey, as long as there's time on the clock, we have a chance. And that's with anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's with any team. Just some teams don't have that mentality. Well, the Houston Cougars had that mentality. And with that win, the Houston Cougars, this will be their third trip to the championship game. In '83, we've all seen the video. They play it every year, especially during the Jimmy Valvano, cancer speech. And during, cancer, when they talk about, the, cancer and stuff of that nature, they lost to North Carolina State with an alley-oop. It really wasn't even an alley-oop. Dude just shot an air ball, and my man had the sense to catch it and dunk it. Game over. And Jimmy V out there running all over the floor trying to figure out who he gonna hug. '84, them boys from Georgetown, Patrick Ewing, they beat the Houston Cougars. When the Houston Cougars had Fire Slammer Jammer, you know what I'm saying? They had Keem Olajuwon. They had Clyde Drexler. I can't think of the other names, but all they did was just dunk on you. But hell, they made a dang frat. They made a fraternity out of it. And then now this is their third trip. It's the third time the charm. Because who they're playing next is another team that make comebacks, that can shoot the lights out. You know what I'm saying? Like my man, what's his name? Wendell, what's his name? Carter. That man's unbelievable. 30-point games back to back. You know what I'm saying? In the Elite Eight and in the semis of the Final Four. So it's going to be a tall task, but it's also going to be a tall task for Florida as well, because Houston plays nothing but in-your-face defense, and they can shoot when they need to, and we'll see. They can definitely shoot. So we'll see what happens. But in the meantime, I think it's going to be a great game. I think I'm going to make a prediction again, like I did yesterday. I made the prediction that Florida would beat Auburn and that Houston would beat Duke. And here we are. So here's my prediction. I think the Houston Cougars and Calvin Sampson are going to get their first NCAA championship game tomorrow night. I truly believe that. Calvin Sampson, regardless of how you feel about him, and at other programs he's had, NCAA violations, this, that, and the fourth, but everywhere he goes, they're a winning team. He's a great coach, and a coach that I feel like deserves a national championship along with the team that he is coaching. I think they truly deserve a national championship as well. But anyway, yeah. Cooper Flagg, is he going to come back next year? I know earlier, there was a sense of he may come back next year, maybe unfinished business. I mean, now with the college game, whether it's football, whether it's basketball, NIL is very important now. NIL, in most cases, keep players in college. Now, they still have a lot of things to work on with NIL, but until then, it's going to just be free game and transfers and, hey, I don't want to be here and I want to be there and, because something didn't work here and, oh my God, I want to go somewhere else because I couldn't cut it, or whatever the case may be. We really don't know. Because why? We're not behind the scenes. Who knows? There may be a coach that may have promised somebody something and that promise never came through. Why you want to stay? You can't even trust dude no more. You know what I mean? Or you can't trust not only the coach, but the coaching staff, because sometimes that goes hand in hand. But it is what it is. But I just want to say, man, I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to give you this content. Please follow, like, share, subscribe, comment. I really want to hear y'all thoughts. Plus, it definitely helps the channel here. And I got more. Got more to come. Yeah, I got to talk about Tennessee and Texas A&M and Tennessee getting mollywopped in the series. Definitely want to talk about the South Carolina UConn game that's happening tonight. I already made my prediction on that. I think the Lady Gamecocks are going to go back-to-back. Yeah, UConn is playing right at the right time. That's fine. But you was playing UCLA. Okay, whatever. But you're playing South Carolina. But don't get it twisted. UConn beat South Carolina earlier this season in South Carolina. So there's some revenge that could come into play. But anyway, this your boy Blackout Jones. We're just shooting the sports. And hey, man, I appreciate y'all. And, keep your head up. Stay positive. Hey, and it's Sunday. Man, go outside and enjoy yourself. It's great weather because tomorrow's going to be rain, and more rain. But anyway, holla at you. Peace out.